Thank you, Steve. Hi, everyone. I'm Jeanette Mulvey, the editor-in-chief of Co. by the U.S. Chamber of Commerce. Sometimes the best business advice comes from other entrepreneurs. During virtual events over the past 2 years, I've asked countless accomplished business owners for their advice on important topics like scaling their business, marketing, and team leadership. Today, I'm joined by three standout speakers from these discussions. They're here to answer some of the most pressing questions our audiences have asked during our Q&As over the past year. So welcome back to Elena LeDoux, COO of Boss Security Screens and co-founder of Superb Maids in Las Vegas. She was a finalist for last year's Dream Big Minority-Owned Business Achievement Award. Also returning is Renaldo Webb, founder and chief product officer of PetPlate, which makes and delivers fresh dog food across the country. And I'd also like to welcome back Jennifer Jenkins, president of JJPR Agency and winner of last year's Dream Big Women Owned Business Achievement Award. Welcome back to all of you.
Thanks for having us.
Ronaldo, I'm going to start with you, and then I'm going to come to you, ladies. Just tell us about your business. They're all different. So tell us about what your business does, and what is like your next big goal that you're trying to accomplish this year.
Of course. And thank you again for having us. And at PetPlate, we're a direct-to-consumer business, a digitally native brand, and we ship freshly cooked dog food directly to our customers' doors. We work directly with veterinary nutritionists to create and make human-grade meal plans for our customers. And in terms of PetPlate, really what's next for us is continuing to evolve the business outside of just being a direct-to-consumer business, but now starting to have a presence in retail. We've started to roll out across 100 Pet Supplies Plus stores across the U.S., and then we're matching that with other chains in the U.S. as well. So, it's been very interesting starting to tweak the business from, our direct-to-consumer, digitally native roots to how do we actually market and merchandise and talk about our product in a physical retail setting. So that's been a fun challenge for us.
Yeah, that sounds like a big change. Elena, same question for you. Tell everyone what your business does and what's the next big thing that's happening.
Well, Superb Maids is the leading house cleaning company in Las Vegas. Boss Security Screens is the security screen company, which is we install stainless steel mesh and frame with aluminum, aircraft grade aluminum. And it goes outside of your windows and doors and makes it kind of like a fortress. It's against the break-ins, hurricanes, or as people say, bugs and thugs. And right now we're going into we're in 3 states: Nevada, Arizona, and New Mexico, and we're going into California and Texas next. So it's very, very exciting for us.
So big expansion for you. Jennifer, tell us about your business and what's happening this year for you guys.
We are a full service public relations and marketing firm based in South Alabama. We help businesses tell their story and grow their bottom line with consistent PR and marketing programs, whether that is building a social media presence, placing stories in the media, designing a new brand or website, and developing comprehensive marketing plans. We have been busier than ever this past year. I think as the need just grows for more and more presence on various communication platforms. But one thing we're excited about, and we continue to work and is a goal for us, is because a lot of our clients and how our traditional agency model is set up for mid to larger size manufacturing and B2B companies, we are working on a new service line and online offering for small businesses. And so we're really excited about that and hoping that we can really create some bandwidth, because that's one of our favorite customers to serve is small businesses just like us.
That's great. So I think a common theme that you're all experiencing, and that's what I want to talk about next, is just change. So Renaldo, starting with PetPlate, I mean, you were pet focused from the beginning. That was your whole business. Then the pandemic hit. There was this huge increase in pet ownership. And I'm sure that has impacted your business and changed your business. So can you talk a little bit about your strategy for adapting to that changing reality?
No, of course. And, in addition to just, so many new pets being out there, a lot of people really had to change how they're thinking about buying, their dog food, dog treats, etc. for their pets as well. Given that going to stores, there's different level of comfort there. So, really what we've done is made sure that our marketing messages really speak to new pet parents. We've also made sure that our product, as well as, just kind of generally how we're merchandising PetPlate speaks to new pet parents. So we have a very robust content strategy, really helping new pet parents, solve all of the things they may be trying to figure out, so we can become that trusted resource for our customers. And then we've also married that with just making it easier to get, certain products such as treats and supplements on our website as a way of introducing people to the brand, realizing that you may have a particular food given that, it's a new puppy or a new dog, from the breeder, but you may be very open to ordering treats or supplements for your pet, but not ready to switch food. So we've really thought a lot about our product strategy, a lot about our marketing strategy, and how we, talk about the brand and develop content and who that content is targeting.
Interesting. So, Elena, Superb Maids is a cleaning service, which I can't even imagine how much your business changed during the pandemic. So tell us a little bit about that and how you are, managing that change.
Sure, definitely. We live in interesting times, right? For the ancient Chinese curse. So on the maid side, we noticed, of course, demand remains very strong. There was a fair amount of communication that needed to happen. And in fact, we retained the publicist, the PR agency, to communicate our message for, that we're our essential business, we're helping community. And so that really helped us tremendously. So clients were okay as far as like remaining with us and actually attracting new clients. It was fine. On the employee side, it's a continuous challenge. We've been always known to be very employee-centric company. We do a lot of things for them. We protect them, we take care of them, we help them to grow within our company and even outside of the company. But given that right now everybody else started to become a lot more attentive to employees, and especially in the hiring arena, there are a lot more promises made. The ads are a lot smarter than we are. We have to make sure that we communicate what's so different about us and our company in particular more clearly, and within the company itself, that we maintain communication is a very top priority in our business with our employees, to make sure we're all on the same page, they understand what's going on, they're not scared, if they have a challenge or problem, that we address it right away and we communicate it very explicitly. And that helped a lot.
Yeah, great. Thank you. Jennifer, tell us about how your business has changed. What were the changing needs you saw from your clients, and how have you managed to keep your team flexible enough to meet those needs?
That's a really great question. I think one of the things that has been so interesting is we are seeing so much business within our current client base, and a heightened need from those clients to have a more robust and consistent presence than ever, not only in traditional communication platforms, but also in that digital communication space, and being able to measure that, which is one of the things we really love. But they're doing that without any more people power, and sometimes losing people, and then those are not being replaced. So we are really able to position ourselves as kind of a cost-effective solution to supplement their current marketing efforts with a full-service team who's skilled in all aspects of PR, creative, social media, digital communications. But what that means for us is that we are really having to continue our own professional development, because as you know, all of these platforms are constantly changing and evolving, and there's something new every day. And so just helping our clients to prioritize the best spaces for them to be in, and making sure that their brand and their business is seen very consistently across all of those. And the measurement piece is really critical too, because knowing that helps to refine their budgets and where they really should be. And when, for example, if a client, we just went through a couple of budget fiscal year reviews, and when they have to make cuts, we know exactly which things are working best. And so for us, that is an area we're continuing to train in and get development in for our employees and our teams ourselves, because we want to do that as well as we possibly can and serve our clients really, really well.
Right. That's really interesting that you're able to give them advice. So what I want to do with our remaining time is go through some of what were the most popular audience questions from our previous events. So Renaldo, I'm coming to you first. We had a lot of questions about pricing. So how do you find the right pricing, and have you had to do some experimentation on that?
No, of course, and and then that also brings to the forefront, as I'm sure there's a lot of business owners are experiencing, all of the different supply chain challenges, in the current climate. And really, when we think about pricing at PetPlate, there are really two different models you can use. There's your cost-based plus pricing, or your value-based pricing. And at PetPlate, we feel we're more of a value-based pricing network. So what we'll do is whether we're launching a treat or a supplement or a new meal, we'll look across the competitive landscape and try to see if there are other, similar value props being offered or other similar products. Many times they're not, given the quality that PetPlate delivers to our customers. And then we try to think of what is a fair or like an honest markup as a result of that. And then in terms of the pricing, luckily we're able to do a lot of that testing online. So we do a lot of A/B testing when it comes to varying either different quantities you can buy, different shipping frequencies. That definitely leads to different changes in pricing. And from there, we can get an idea around the overall ticket price, the overall cost per ounce, and things like that really sway and move our customers. That's obviously a lot harder to do in retail. So, to the extent you can do testing online and you can utilize A/B testing, it's really helpful for business owners to do that. So, that's how we've approached it. And I also think that, again, in the current climate with what's happening, for supply chains, not only across the US, but across the world, I think a lot of your customers will understand if there's pricing pressure on you, and having those, small cohorts of people where you have communication, you might change what the end price point is, and seeing how they react could be a nice way of testing in a more, non-direct to consumer model, if that makes sense.
Yes, it definitely does. Elena, you mentioned that there's a lot of competition for hiring, and everyone is experiencing that right now. So I remember when I interviewed you last, you talked about a video that you had on your website that people could watch that explained exactly what it was like to work at your company. Can you talk about that, about how you're going about recruiting right now?
Absolutely. Yes, the video I love because I'm extremely lazy, and when I start doing something repeatedly, like more than 3 times, I start thinking about how do I get out of this. So that's how I came up with the video. I feel like accepting a new position for anyone, in particular for a cleaning position, it's a scary thing. I don't know if you're all watching Maids on Netflix, but it's a very emotional. A lot of times people come from vulnerable backgrounds. They're immigrating, or they're just starting their life from scratch. That's who our typical candidates are. So for them, and for any other position for that matter, it's very life-changing to accept a job somewhere. So people normally have a lot of questions in the back of their mind. And if you can't answer them proactively, then you're at a loss. So that's what we try to do. The video we have is about 19 minutes, and it's literally just me talking about the position, the company, what are the pros and what are the cons of working with us, in a very straightforward and honest manner, what the application process is, how the growth opportunities are, what are some of the pitfalls, and who should not be applying with us. So I highly recommend it to everyone to include excessive communication at that initial point of hiring, so then your expectations and the employees' expectations can meet, and you'll be more successful with your recruitment process.
Yeah, I love that. Thank you so much. So Jennifer, we got a lot of questions over the course of the year about marketing and promoting your business and public relations. Specifically, a lot of our audience is small business owners. They don't have the budget to hire a PR firm. Can you just talk about some of the more effective and low-cost ways that small businesses can pitch themselves to media or more generally to get attention?
Absolutely. One of my favorite really, it requires only your time, and a business can research journalists and media outlets that you want to get covered in and brainstorm a creative media kit that you can assemble and put together. And it reminds me of one we actually did for a boutique small business bakery that we did work for, and we packaged those and then sent them to get coverage when they were expanding their locations. And then we also did it and targeted some influencers, and now social media influencers are actually getting paid for many promotions. But for this particular one, we were able to get a mailing address for her, and we knew all of her favorite things and things about her family and loved ones, and even her dog that had been posted. And so we had custom gift boxes of cookies that the bakery did, and we shipped to them. So that is something that any business can do for themselves. It just requires your time to research those journalists and to really kind of dig in. For example, if you're a wallpaper manufacturer and you want to get seen in a lot of the lifestyle publications, you can frame those and then send them to those reporters. Another thing that you can do is if you're doing a new launch or store opening, you can actually record yourself doing social media, Instagram and Facebook stories, and then download those and save them to something like Dropbox, and then send them to your friends via text message or email or however you prefer, and then get them to reshare and kind of be another voice to promote your business's successes and launch or whatever it is that you're promoting on their social media stories. And what it does is kind of helps you build a following with their like-minded followers that might be interested in what you have to offer, and it grows that following for your brand as well. So those are a couple of my favorites that are very cost effective and really only take your time.
That's great. Thank you. So next question, Renaldo, you first, but I'm coming to you ladies with this question too, so you can think about it. What is the biggest trend you see on the horizon right now that could impact your business, good or bad, and how are you preparing for it?
So, great question. I think for, PetPlate and probably for a lot of other businesses is how do you rise above the clutter online? There are a lot of different, platforms now, whether, on Facebook, Google, TikTok, Snapchat, etc. And being very creative about, what, ad assets and other creative you're getting out there is going to be very important. You're also seeing rising costs across all of these platforms. So really thinking about how you get in front of customers in a cost efficient way, and very much even leveraging a lot of, the interesting ideas that were just shared on the PR front could probably be a very interesting strategy there. But we spend a lot of time at PetPlate thinking about that efficiency. And it's one of the main reasons why we're also looking at becoming more of an omni-channel business and getting a retail presence so that we can, combat some of those rising costs of marketing the customers online and reaching our target consumer. So I think that's just going to continue to be challenging as there are more and more startups and small businesses out there all competing for, really the same ad space on a very few platforms.
That's great. Jennifer, next, same question for you. What's the biggest trend you see on the horizon right now?
Oh, wow. I think it's just the evolution of continued platforms that a business can be on, and what's the best one for your specific type of business and where your customers going, and really staying on top of those emerging trends, especially in the digital space. For us as a business, one of the trends, we're seeing right now is finding team members to join us. It's a continued, I think, stressor as a business owner to make sure that you are hiring for your business in a way that you're hiring for character and culture and competency. And there is a lot of competition for employees right now. And so as small business owners, I feel like a lot of what we have to do is really over communicate about our culture and how much we invest in our team, and what I feel is a great place to work.
Great. And Elena, same for you. What's the biggest trend you're seeing?
Well, I wish it wasn't a trend, but I believe for the security screen companies, the good news is we had 300% surge year over year in demand for a product. And of course, that's a great problem to have. Unfortunately, we're dealing with a supply chain squeeze that Renaldo just mentioned as well. So I feel like a lot of small businesses are affected by that. There are lengthy delays in some of the parts or some of the products that we rely on, and the way we're coping with it. And I believe that it's going to persist for a while, just because the whole idea of just-in-time supply chain has been promoted as a smart business idea for so long that for every manufacturer to kind of adjust and be something else, it's going to take quite some time. That's what I suspect. So the way we're coping with that is basically being, again, through communicating with suppliers, because just to get them to state honestly what their delivery times are, I think it's a challenge as well. And also communicating that to clients. And as long as you keep them apprised along the way, honestly, with integrity and regularly, they are very, very forgiving. But it's very tempting to run away from it and kind of pretend that it's not going to continue, which I think would be a mistake.
That's great. We are almost out of time, so I want to do a lightning round. So the question for each of you is going to be, we're seeing a huge startup boom. People across all kinds of industries are starting brand new businesses coming out of the pandemic. So what is your best, one sentence of advice for someone who is starting a new business? So Renaldo, I'm going to go with you.
Yeah, be slow and steady, right? It's going to take a lot of time and a lot of work, but it's very rewarding once you get there.
Great. Jennifer, same question.
Write down every process as you develop it and update it frequently as you grow, because they're going to change constantly. And just be really mindful of that, because that's how you'll grow and be able to scale effectively.
Thank you. And Elena, you get the last word on this. What's your best one sentence of advice for a startup?
Because of the uncertain times, the best advice I can give is Native American saying, "When the thunder strikes, cows run away from it and buffaloes run towards it." And I always add, and every morning I ask myself, am I a cow or am I a buffalo? And I always feel like a cow, but I choose to run like a buffalo. And that's my advice. Just keep running.
Well, I can't think of a better way to end it. I want to thank you all so much for joining me. It was such a pleasure to interview you again. Thanks to the audience. And that's all we have time for this segment. Thanks everyone.